There was a time in my life that I used to believe that for magicians, money is the last problem they ever have because they can just.
That's weird.
Bro, and the question is trying to keep a marriage, trying to stay in the marriage and actually being loyal, considering all those things that we've discussed. Is it a fight between loyalty or escape from the streets? Yeah. Is staying about loyalty or a fear of dating apps and soft boys? So is sticking to one person a smart emotional decision or just a defense mechanism against the chaos that is out there?
I don't think that's the case for men. I might be wrong, but from my perspective, I think there is this inherent bit of protection and provision that men have. I think that's why we are struggling with it, because for sure, if you would say one thing that I would propose to sort of solve this whole dating or marriage crisis, I would say men should sort of lean towards what women are asking for and everything will be fine. But for sure, we've seen that men are really struggling with it. And I believe there is something wired in our brain that makes it quite difficult. It's not just
I think
woman.
even the women that would advocate the most for, oh, we want other things from men, when they engage men that cannot do the provision and protection thing, they get eked out.
For sure.
Right. So it's not just men being scared of it. I think it's also just the experience shows something different from what the women are saying. Like every woman deep down, when you press deep down, they still want to be provided for, they still want to be protected. And
they
the
would
problem
argue
is
that
that
that's not the case.
doing all that and still being able to give the utmost amount of love and attention and presence that women want, there's probably a conflict in today's world at least. Unless you are a trust fund baby, you have security guards, you have all the money you need, then you have no excuse. But if you have to work for it, there's probably a conflict of interest.
It's like this either or situation, and I feel like maybe a lot of women also struggle to understand it. Yeah, I mean, the world that we live in is just what you just said. I'm just saying it differently because it's like women would ask you for your time and still want you to be rich. How do you do that? It's like if you have to make a lot of money, a lot of time goes into that. So it's like now I'm like slowing down. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Now I'm not making as much, but now you start seeing me different. Now I give you more time, but at what cost? You can't, it's an either or situation. Maybe if we have a different economic setup, maybe that would be different.
See, man, bro. Do you know why I'm laughing? My brain is going crazy. So the moment you go your time and you want money, I wanted to jump in and say, well, you have to be Houdini, a magician. Do you know what came to my head immediately? That there was a time in my life, you know, all these magicians where there would just be a lot of money in a bag and it's magic. And I just couldn't clock that it was probably fake money or whatever like that.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life that I used to believe that for magicians, money is the last problem they ever have because they can just.
That's weird. That's crazy.
There was a story about Professor Pella in Bodija, Ibadan.
Oh, yeah, that's true. My dad always, I think my dad shared some stories
he'll
with
just
me.
drive out and then he'll come back. He won't go anywhere and he'll be like, hey, carry the bag of money in the boot. Then maybe that money is then missing from a bank vault somewhere, but he don't care. That he can make any type of money show up in his boot.
My dad absolutely believed that one was a demigod of some sort, man. Like, that he was like powerful and he was just a magician, bro. Oh yeah, we digressed. So to answer your question,
sorry, my brain was just going,
So if you're asking if men are staying for out of fear of dating apps or I don't think that's true in any way at all. I think men just still find purpose in protecting and protection. And I was trying to say not just for their with their women, with kids, with relatives. It's like this responsibility of being the first male child in our culture, for example. There's this, you are like now the new, you know, the one
the
exactly
mini
of the family. So yeah, I think
man of the house.
there is something inherently masculine about it.
Yeah, and I had this conversation with a lady recently where she was then saying that she believes that one of the reasons that men tend to want to stay in the marriage is it's out of shame. That when the marriage fails under a man's guidance, it's a failure for them. When the marriage fails for a woman, in fact, you see it on the internet. I just finalized my divorce. Congratulations. Yeah, for a woman. A man, my wife just left me. Oh, so sorry, man. Oh my goodness. How you gonna survive this?
How you doing, bro? Yeah.
Yeah, because for a man, it's a failure. It's a life crumbling. For a woman, they see it more as a new beginning. Now you're finally free. Will you ever do it again? I will never do it again, or something like this.
Free of what? I think that's the most. That's
free,
interesting.
Freedom to experience the new world. The world is different now,
and that's what I wanted to mention. Right? I feel like this whole free thing is what you mentioned earlier. I think a lot of women, this sexual liberation thing is one of the biggest reasons women leave. I've seen a lot of. It's like this free thing is now. I'm in my soft girl era, and a lot of these people want to be. Not necessarily thinking they want to be promiscuous, but they feel like there's this idea
that's why it's all
I can do better. But 1 year down the line, you've been run through. I guarantee it. Like at least maybe 4 or 5 times. Because, bro,
yeah. If you put yourself out there.
I know it is out there, but yeah.
Yeah, I think this is also the part that women don't understand, right? So for a man, if I put myself out there, I get lucky, I sleep with 2, 3. You know, I mean, as an example, on average. Yeah. When a woman puts herself out there, they can sleep with 5 guys in 1 day. Yeah. Just put yourself out there. It's a very different story. But I think women understand the world and they see men in a position where men have everything that they would wish to have or hope to have.
Yeah.
So basically, now that the world is in a better place, I do believe that everyone should be able to decide for themselves how they want to do their thing.
Yeah.
And the world is actually in a better place for that to happen now. But I wouldn't say that then exactly mimicking how something different from you does their own thing is exactly how to go. It's also the problem that we have where Nigeria wants to copy the US. A man wants to copy a woman, or a woman wants to copy a man. There are differences in what makes us what we are. And those those nuances should be put into consideration before we act. So a woman wants to move exactly like a man in town, you will get way more than the amount of that any given man on earth will get. Yeah, and then but then the question is that maybe we are still wrong to actually want to place emphasis on you got many. Maybe we are still wrong. And I say
that's the liberation, right?
Just to allow the people to decide for themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Because as a man myself,
I only brought it up. Sorry to cut you. I only brought it up because I've seen some women thinking, oh, I'm just going to leave this unhappy marriage and jump into this amazing one.
Well,
but nah, like you will be run through for sure. I guarantee it. Because it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I feel you, mate. I feel you. Yeah. I mean, but then the question is sticking to one person a smart emotional decision or a defense. I think it can actually just be both. Because when you now think about it now, imagine having a traditional woman that maybe one thing or the other is not perfect, which is perfectly okay. Marriages are not meant to be pristine perfect. As a man, you would know better than to just put yourself out there and have to deal with, like, you have a dying breed of women. And if that's your preference, you should probably really fight to make things work with that. If that's your preference. If you prefer something else, of course, it's fine. And I think it's the same for women as well. There's actually a dying breed of men as well, because men are also adjusting to the new reality. But there are a few men that still wants to hold on to some traditional responsibilities. So if you have a man like that at least that's not the issue. I think a lot of the other things you can walk through. Yeah. I'm curious to see on this whole topic about men trying harder in relationships than women today. What do you guys think in the comment section? Drop it in.